Hello and welcome to The Defender. This is Wardens of the Cross. In a society which has drifted away from morality and a desire for purity, the use of foul language has become almost a second language for many people. Foul language, of course, is the use of swear words within a conversation, and for some people, it seems like it is the only form of expressing themselves. While this is verbally impure and offensive to some people, cursing and swearing is a much bigger deal and, under certain circumstances, can even become a mortal sin. In today's episode, the goal is to differentiate when foul language is a mortal sin and when it is a venial sin. We will also look at examples in the Bible where it refers to foul language, cursing, and swearing, and see what God has to say about it. This is a major issue in today's society, and well worth taking a look into how it affects you spiritually. Before looking deeper into swearing and why it is almost always a sin of some sort, it is important to look to verses within the Bible to see why it is such a big deal. Curses are mentioned many times throughout the Bible, and they are never referred to in a light manner. In James 3:10, we are told, "From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be so." In Matthew 15:11, we are told that it is not what a man eats that defiles him, but what a man says. In Matthew 12:37, we are also told that we will be judged according to how we speak. In James 1:26, we are told that if anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, this person's religion is worthless. These are some of the many references to swearing and cursing which are to be found within the pages of two books in the New Testament, and does not even scratch the surface of many of the other books within the Bible. As is obvious, God makes it crystal clear that cursing is a big deal and not something to be taken lightly. While swearing is a matter which should not ever be taken lightly, it does not mean that every usage of swearing is a mortal or even a venial sin. In a society which thrives on foul language, one can become accustomed to hearing vulgar language at every turn, and may begin to think less of it over time, which may lead them to adopt cursing as a habit. Times like this are not always sins, and in many cases it depends on what word was used and in what concept. Bad spiritual habits do not always constitute sins if they are committed as a knee-jerk response to something. Most cursing or swearing is a venial sin, but as always, it matters about the context it is in. Cursing is always a mortal sin if it uses the Lord's name in any way, such as saying something like, "God damn it," or if it contains language as if you are passing judgment on somebody, such as, "Go to hell." The former reason is obviously due to the fact that you are committing blasphemy by taking the Lord's name in vain. The latter is due to the fact that there are evil things within the world, and if you call upon them, they will sometimes respond and do your bidding, for a time at least, until they drag you into hell with them. You are also presuming the rule of God when saying something similar to "darn you," and only God has the privilege of sending people to the eternal pit. Hell is not a joking matter. While these are always mortal sins, there are other situations which may be considered mortal sins if they are in direct reference to a person, such as saying something horrible such as "screw you." It is usually a mortal sin if followed by the word "you," as shown above. Cursing is always a mortal sin, no matter what is said, if it is aimed at parents or authoritative elders. Aside from previously mentioned, most cursing is a venial sin at most. For example, saying "what the hell" is at most a venial sin due to the fact that it is just an exclamation. If there are a bunch of hooligans acting stupid in one form or another, and I called them idiots, it is a venial sin at most. Remember that while saying the S, F, B, or any other curse word, it is not usually a mortal sin, but is probably still a venial sin, and unconfessed venial sins will grant you extra purgatory time before your soul can enter heaven. While cursing and swearing is not always a sin, it still taints reputations in the physical world. Nothing is more cringeworthy than the idiot in a chat who drops F-bombs as adjectives, or says the S word every other sentence. Those people are not the type of people who I would personally hang out with, and while I do occasionally say things like "what the hell," I rarely do anything worse. Remember, it is not what enters your mouth, but what leaves your mouth that defiles you. So it is best not to defile yourself physically or spiritually by being a potty mouth. Remember also that you can cleanse yourself spiritually through the God-given sacrament of confession. Thank God for reconciliation. Also note that any language used within this episode does not constitute either a mortal or venial sin due to the fact that this is an educational moment.